Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker, and this is WPwatercooler's WPblab, episode number 135. Today's topic is WordCamp Speakers, the Toolkit episode on WPblab. Oh, man. All right, let's see here.
Today's show sponsor is...
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. WPblab is made possible by our sponsors, ServerPress and Kinsta. ServerPress, makers of desktop server. They make local WordPress development easy. Check them out over at serverpress.com. And I just want to let you know that this show is not just this show is not just like one of those podcasts that you can listen to, but we're also a video show as well. And if you're somebody who's listening to this in the car and you're like, oh, you guys record video? You can actually watch us as well. So feel free to go take a look at that. You can go over to WPwatercooler.com where you can learn how to do that. And also if you're somebody who's watching us and you're like, man, I'd really just want to listen to this show, you can go over to WPwatercooler.com/subscribe, and that's where you can learn to subscribe to this show as well as WP Watercooler. And go do that. So we don't have a guest today, but we definitely have the two of us. And so I wanted to see if we could introduce ourselves, Bridget. So tell us about yourself.
So hi, everybody. My name is Bridget Willard. I do marketing for WordPress agencies and products. I will be speaking at Dallas Fort Worth in October about learning from the concept car industry. And you can find me at bridgetwillard.com. That's 1T, BRIDGET, Willard, WILLARD.com. Sometimes I get Williard and some extra T's and E at the end of my name, but that's me.
Here, I'll help you out, Bridget. So we'll since I didn't show anything else, I'll show your name
Willard.
Here. Oh my goodness. I saw a sneak peek of that talk, and it looks pretty awesome.
Thank you.
I'm super excited for what you did and how you've kind of worked that magic in there. So it's gonna be awesome. I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter. My website is jasontucker.blog, and I do this show as well as another show called WP Watercooler. You can go take a look at that over at WPwatercooler.com. So I wanted to do one quick little thing, Bridget. So a couple episodes ago, I asked you to like over explain yourself, and then I did the smallest intro ever. No joke. Your intro was this long, and I was like, exactly what I say and nothing different. So I thought I would take a moment and introduce myself real fast. So I'm Jason Tucker. I've been doing this both WP Watercooler and WPblab for about 7 years now. I'm a web developer. I've been going to my local WordPress meetups as well as WordCamps for many years now. And I started WP Watercooler as a way of kind of getting a bunch of people together in the WordPress community. And so by doing that, it was just a way to kind of get everyone to talk and be able to do something outside of just the meetups. And so starting that and then starting this with Bridget, the idea of being able to talk about marketing with a WordPress spin on it. And it seems right. And it seems like it's something that a lot of people really need. And so I'm hoping that if you enjoyed this content, that you share it with somebody else. We'd really appreciate it. And that's me. I also work at a church. I manage all of their IT, networking, infrastructure, all that fun stuff. I've been super busy as of late. And that's me.
Good job. I like it.
Yep. 3 kids, 2 dogs.
3 kids, 2 dogs. I have no mammals dependent upon me to survive life at this moment. I have some strawberry plants that do not like the sun on my balcony, and I may foster out. So Jason, like, just to give the viewers a little bit of idea, so you are the AV guy, okay? You've been doing video podcasting for quite some time.
I don't do it at work. I don't do it at work though.
No, but no, in general, in life, of anybody I know, you've been doing vlogging, blogging, podcasting, recording, snippets, gear. You have it all. And so, just a little background for our friends. Why we chose this subject. So I spoke at WordCamp Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. Unfortunately, the lavalier mic from Central was not functioning. So we had to go with the room mic. And I'm loud and boomy, and it was a loud and boomy mic, which was fine for the people whose ears were in the room. But the recording is less than ideal. Fine enough to be on WordPress.tv, fine enough for me to download it and put it on YouTube, blah, 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 Facebook. But when you were showing me the tool for the transcript, that's when we realized, my goodness, that tool could not figure out. I had so many brackets that said inaudible.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad.
Yeah, that was tough. I used to help out with our local WordCamp being able to do all of their recordings and all that fun stuff, and it's a tough gig, especially if things just don't work out right. If the technology is failing on you, if no joke, I carry a lav mic with me in my bag. I'm one of those people where it's like, oh, you need a dongle? Which one do you want? And so, just having a lav mic is not to say that everyone needs to do this, but I am going to kind of give you a little bit of an idea as some type of like speaker type kit. And this is something, if you yourself are going to be speaking someplace, like what you should do. And I'll kind of go into that in a little bit as to like how that works. But what I wanted to say before we begin in all this stuff is that a lot of times the WordCamp depends on where the WordCamp is. For instance, WordCamp Orange County, that particular WordCamp, at least the location that they're typically at, is at a place that has a venue that has everything. They have the Star Trek style monitoring system around the whole room. They have cameras in all different corners of that place. They have a switcher. They have a TriCaster. They have like all the toys that you need in order to be able to capture the data, push it out, do all the stuff that you need to with it, and have a really good recording and a really good experience with it. And if in the recording, all different angles of this thing. So if they need to go back and change something, they could go back and change it. But they're also allowing us, when we use their venue, to stream that out live as well. Well, when it's live, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So something happens, then that's it. So when it comes to doing this stuff, especially if you're recording, you get one shot at it. So that's a lot of pressure for somebody who's doing the WordCamp and running that whole thing. It's a ton of pressure for it. And for me, it was a ton of pressure. Taking the SD cards, putting them into the computer, dumping all of the stuff, uploading the stuff. If they have slow internet connection, if they're in a rural area that has really slow, crappy internet connection, like you have all those issues that could be cropping up and happen. And so this kit that I'm kind of alluding to here is a way that if you yourself could at least capture something out of it. It could be the audio, it could be the video, it could be the audio and the video, it could be audio and video separate. Like there's ways of doing this. And if you just either spend a little bit of money, or if you find some money in your budget that you could spend to do this sort of thing, you might be able to do what Bridget does, which is take your videos and repurpose them elsewhere, put them on Facebook, put them on LinkedIn, put them on all those things. But if the quality of the content that's being captured, not the quality of the content, but the content's good, because obviously
the recording of
it, if that's bad or is just not it's subpar, then you might be able to fix it. So for instance, if the recording of the video is good, then you could at least record yourself as audio. And this is like, this is, how do I put this? It's like
post-production.
Yeah, but you can kind of think ahead a little bit. Like maybe I could use this audio for something else, or maybe I could use this video for something else. So I guess basics wise is if you took your phone and you stuck it on one of these little clamps, and the ice cream truck's going by right now. I love it. This is a Jason heavy episode. So if you take your this little clip that you can buy that has a little connection on the back of it that you could be able to take your take your tripod and hook it up to that. And just have your phone just kind of standing there at it, and please do it horizontally. Record the video horizontal, and just get that. That's pretty good.
I had to do that actually in Ottawa 2 years ago because they did not have any recordings at all, and I didn't know ahead of time. The speakers
Yeah.
weren't told, and I didn't even have my tripod because I didn't think that, so I set it up against, like, my purse and
Yeah. And there's ways to do that. If like you're saying with your purse or something like that, that's good. That's good. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be good enough.
but it would be better to have this. Like, worst case scenario, you're on a deserted island, you're
Right.
giving a presentation.
Exactly.
If it's really important to you as a speaker to not rely upon recordings at WordCamps
Yep.
or anywhere else, Chamber of Commerce, blah, blah, wherever,
Yep.
this is what you need.
Yeah. So get a tripod, put that thing on the tripod, point it at you, get it to be eye level. Especially if you're someone who is a heavier person like myself. I want to make sure, I have a beard, so I definitely hide double chin status here, but
Seriously, I look like Jabba the Hutt.
Come on. So when
it's the wrong angle,
it's the wrong angle,
that's what I'm saying.
So you want eye level or higher if you can do it. Which means you need a tripod that's not this little dinky tripod, but you need something that can get it up that high. If you get something that's easy to expand and contract, that's great. There's a company called ProMaster that makes one that's about yay big, that fits in my backpack. I carry it with me wherever I go. That's a separate backpack for just when I go to WordCamps. No joke. Yeah. I have a backpack just for WordCamps, but it's one of those things that if you could use that, you'll be able to at least capture some audio that way. The next thing is if you have some type of microphone that you can capture audio with as well, that would be super handy. Not to say that this is the best way, but if you're in an environment where you're pretty far away from the people that you're speaking to, you might be able to get away with using something like AirPods. So you take an AirPod, put it in your ear, set the camera up out there, and then hit record. That might work for you. Also, they make Bluetooth microphones that you could just clip on your shirt, and it uses Bluetooth to communicate with your phone. Record it that way as well. If you get super fancy, you can go buy like a Sennheiser mic pack. You're spending like $600-700 for one of those. And you also want to ask the venue if it's okay to use the mic pack, because they have specific frequencies that they're using, and you may be interfering with their frequencies. Now you just ruined both recordings. So you may want to ask ahead and just be like, hey, can I use my mic pack? And here's what frequency I'm using. And they're going to know more about it than you are. So just act dumb and just be like, I have things. How do I make this work? And then let them just, kind of work that out.
Speaking of the WordCamp backpack,
yeah,
Amy June told me at Vegas that she and Dwayne both have a go bag for speakers, and they said this is what she does. She doesn't have to refigure out what she likes to wear. She has the dress she likes to speak in, the shirt she wants for to wear, the outfit that she's going to wear for the after party, the speaker party, and the shoes. And they're always ready and always washed. So she does the laundry and then puts them back there so that she doesn't have to worry about what is she going to wear. Because for females, or those who identify as, also like no necklaces.
No necklaces. And if you're wearing that lanyard, take the lanyard off. Everyone knows who your name is, and you're on stage. No one's going to be able to read that anyhow. So take that thing off. You need to look good, and get rid of that thing. You want nothing moving around and shaking. And if you can, clip it on, hit record, test it, and then make sure it works. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. And most of the time you need to show up 15 minutes early or whatever anyhow. So you might as well take that opportunity to actually be productive and do that. So give that a shot. So there's a bunch of different tools that you can use to kind of do this. There's the audio recorder that comes on the iPhone. There's also like a myriad of companies that make different ones. There's one called Just Record, which is probably one of my favorite ones, because you just no joke, you hit a button and it records it, and then when it's done, and it's like, what do you want me to do with this file? And
And
super
what
simple.
format is that file?
I think
MP3?
it's M4A, if I remember correctly, which is like an MPEG audio format. But that's the same one that, if you listen on the iPhone, you could just put an audio file in there and it'll play it. If you were to upload that to, you could use, there's all different companies that you could use if you wanted to use an audio, hosting service or something like that, or just upload it to YouTube or something like that. You can take some audio and video and smash them together and do that sort of thing. But yeah, getting those recordings, and sometimes you could even select it. They'll say MP3 or M4A or something like that. So yeah, that's definitely a good option there of being able to get that recorded, because what happens is, let's say the WordCamp just doesn't work out video wise, and the audio's crappy, but the video is good. You could take your video, download it, load it up into some software. You could use iMovie or something on your Mac, or whatever it is you can do on Windows, and then put those files in there and edit it. It'd be like Adobe Premiere if you're an Adobe user or something like that. But yeah, you could just do that, and then you can edit that audio and video together, and now you have some salvageable stuff. You could also take the audio that's like, there's this term crap in, crap out, which means that crappy stuff goes in, no matter what you do to it, it's always going to be crap out. There's just no way you can get it better. You could take good stuff and make it sound better, but you can't make crappy stuff sound better. It's going to sound like it's underwater, or it's going to sound like it has like a fan in the background, like a fluttering, or all sorts of different things could go wrong with it. So, if you can get good quality recording, then you're fine. So that's what I would put in a bag, is some of those sorts of things, just so you could have some of those at the ready and be able to, set them up and do any of those sorts of things. I've used something called a Mevo for a couple years now, and Mevo is a product that you can kind of put your phone out, or put this device out, and it has like one camera that pretends to be multiple cameras, and it'll switch camera views between one and the other. I've had hit or miss success with that, but that might be something to take a look at. The new iPhone 11 Pro that's coming out actually will let you record front and back cameras at the exact same time. So if you and I were in the same room together, I could put this device right in front of us, hit record, and it will record both front and back cameras at the same time, and then superimpose them next to each other, just like we're doing here.
You and your audience in a WordCamp scenario.
If you wanted to do that, yeah.
Because worst case scenario, if you did record your audio as a backup on your phone, then if the video didn't work out at all, you could put your slides in there and have the video on top of the slides.
Yeah.
I mean, the audio on top of the slides. Worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm. Worst case. Yep. You could also, if like, for instance, your video, do closed captioning or something like that as well, and get that. You could even bake the closed captioning in, so that way they don't have an option of turning it off and on. It's just baked into it. That requires a little bit more work, but it's something that can be done. We have a question where somebody was asking, James Herring was asking, do you record in stereo or in mono? So when it comes to listening to it, if let's say you have two microphones at this, being recorded at the same time, and you're facing one and not the other, what's going to happen is somebody listens to it in their car or something like that. You're going to end up having one side with you speaking more than the other side. When it's something where, like, if Bridget and I were sitting next to each other and we were recording, I would probably mix the stereo mono, or mix two monos together, and then make it so that a little bit of hers on one side and a little bit of mine's on the other side. So essentially you have an overlap. That way it sounds like you're, sitting next to each other, but also the fact that the center channel is going to have both of us speaking at the exact same time. You'd never want to have an interview where there's a left and a right. And I can give you a whole bunch of reasons why that's bad. And I've actually had this happen where somebody recorded something live while at an event, and they had 2 microphones set up, and they set one person to left and one person to right, which is good because now you have 2 separate channels that are being recorded. But then at the end of it, they didn't mix them together. So they left the left and the right. So I'm wearing my AirPods and I have just my left AirPod in.
Oops.
And I'm walking around and I'm like, so she's asking him a question, or she's asking somebody a question, but I'm not hearing the answer. Like, what's going on here? And so what ended up happening is they recorded on 2 separate channels and they never actually mixed them together. So yeah, that's not a good thing. So
I mean, you could get really complicated with audio.
Oh, you can. So your best bet, especially when it comes to podcast, like our podcasting type stuff, is I take it however it's taken and I mix it to mono and then I send it out. So that way both speakers are getting the exact same audio coming out, because we're not trying to pretend that we're in a soundscape or anything like that. It's not like we're trying to like trick you into thinking we're it's like we're not doing 5.1 Dolby surround sound or anything.
Right?
No, we just wanted it to sound good either way.
Because you could spend money. Like my CD back in 2001 cost $18,000. I'm just giving a talk at a WordCamp. It's not that big of a deal.
You're not trying to do a mastering here. Yeah. It's because really you have so many things that are going against you. Every time the audience claps, every time the audience makes a noise, those things aren't isolated. And so you can't edit that. So it is what it is. And don't try to go and edit all this stuff out. Like just do your talk, do it well, and just live with the fumbles and the mess ups. And it is what it is.
But you should want to repurpose your talks.
Heck
on your blog posts, on your website.
You flew to this place. You got lodging at this place. You got all dressed up. And then you go to the event. You speak at the event. You go home and you lay on the bed and die. You're just like, oh my gosh, I just did all this stuff. I can't believe it. And, you have all the stresses and all that stuff that happens. So yeah, like, if you're going to do it, like do it with a purpose. And the purpose is not only that those people are going to hear it and see it and all of that, but that down the road, you're going to be able to reuse that and use it later. Like when we record this show here, I don't care how many people are watching live. It's great that we have, it was cool that James was able to ask a question. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
But
Michelle said, hey, and I'm meeting her for drinks after. Don't be late.
Yeah, see, she's right there. Hey. So you have those sorts of intentions, and definitely repurpose it. And if you can do the captioning stuff, if you can rip out some quotes out of that, and you can do tweetable quotes, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with that stuff after the fact.
Yeah.
Also, if you tell people when you're recording, or once while you're actually doing that recording, that you're asking for feedback on it, you could have them go to a special web address, that post, and say, like, have that post prepared, ready to go, and have people leave comments on the talk.
Yeah.
And now you've just collected comments on something that hasn't even been posted yet, really.
That's a really good idea. I didn't even think about that. Now, I went to Pressnomics, and that was the first time I went. It's number 6. And as you know, or don't know, they may or may not have another one. I guess that's how they market it. So scarcity. So they do not record it on purpose because they want people to feel free, the speakers, to talk about actual situations, actual numbers,
right?
Things that you would never want. So I was like, oh, I don't need my laptop, and it can be live tweeting this stuff, But so apart from that, it's still nice to have that ability to repurpose. For me, I drove to Vegas, stayed 2 nights. Oh, it's like $450.
Yeah.
But if I fly, it's like 1,000 usually.
Right.
And sometimes I'm sponsored and sometimes I'm not. But if you're a company and you're spending money to send your people,
right,
that needs to be on the internet. So it's so funny because that talk and the one from Riverside last year both came out on WordPress TV within days of each other. And I decided to use the Headliner app which I've used this tool tip of the week a bunch of times here to just get a 1 minute square version of like one part of it to put on Instagram,
Yeah.
you know, because I do have a lot more followers now and I'm a very good public speaker. So I don't mind saying that. And it's nice for people to see that I know I didn't like my outfit. Like I was like, Bridget, why did you wear that? Nobody cares. But, like that kind of stuff. And then I wanted just the main part of my Vegas talk online. I really didn't want the whole thing online because I talked about some really personal things.
Mm,
And I kind of wish that the question and answer part, I had asked them to turn it off
right.
because it was about
Right.
mental health talk and
Yep.
it
Which
really
is it?
shouldn't have
That's
that
a
part shouldn't have
good.
been recorded, right? So
Yeah.
use discretion. And then, like, we all know between you and me and the 5 million people that watch this channel that nobody watches WordPress TV.
Yeah.
So you're allowed by Creative Commons to download that, put it on your own channels. Facebook, I put I put it on Facebook and YouTube this time, but I only put that one section that where I didn't talk about anything too personal that any of my relatives, friends, business colleagues, or whoever, or anybody in the room would be
Right.
embarrassed about, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you got to use your discretion too. So that's why it's good to take a little clip here, a little clip there, have it as a
Hmm.
recording. And actually, now that you mention, I wish that I had recorded it on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's ways to do that where even if you just had your headphones and you had wired headphones, no joke, you could just stuff the headphone jack and like stuff the headphones in and just have it kind of loop around. I mean, this is a guy's shirt, but have
Yeah,
it kind of loop around like this. There's ways of where just having just a little bit of the microphone just hanging out of there. There's nothing wrong with that. Like at least you have something,
yeah.
and it's worth it.
Well, last episode, Chris Badgett used that kind of
The
TED
Britney
TED
Spears
talker,
microphone.
the TED Talk one, and the Strebels used that too at Pressnomics.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to be, when I was a singer in children's ministry at church, I used to play the djembe along with the church worship band. So yeah, I had one of those Bobby Brown, it's my prerogative headphones. Now I mean, that was 1990, whatever, 7, 8, 9. So now they have the ones that just go around and they're right here. And that does pick up better audio. So if you do want to spend, if your company, like say we're talking to a company like Ninja Forums and they're sending speakers
Yeah.
around, right? If you have one that your company can share, right? Then that's a good way to, it's a good resource.
Yeah.
If your team is going, you could maybe set up your own camera,
Mhm.
like the
And I've seen people
Bluehost
do that
people.
where
Yeah.
you go get you get a nice telephoto lens and you put it in the center of the room and you zoom in on the person with you know with their talk behind them. The slides aren't all that important. Sometimes the slides are more important than the person, so you need to kind of make that decision as to like, do I want the slides, do I want the person? But I'll tell you right
Well,
now, if you're going to take that person's talk and superimpose it later, then get the video of the person and don't worry
right.
about the slides. And just if you're going to do some post production and actually make it look good, you can do that. And it's much better to be able to see like a nice, clean representation of an image of that slide up on, superimposed on the video than it is to see like a very horribly lit, projector and behind them. And you just,
Right.
yeah, make a decision and you look at it and say like, okay, is this going to work well or not? I don't know. And if you're the one that's doing the recording, get really good at it.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So we, you and I were talking about this in the pre-show. A lot of us have realized that we have vocal pauses.
Oh yeah.
For example, I was very tired ironically giving myself talk about mental health weaning off of one SSRI so that I could start a new one. Completely my brain not functioning. I'm
Yep.
watching this talk going, that was the worst talk I ever gave. Because I kind of pride myself at like, and I thought about I should have sat down. I should have done this. I had too many ums. I repeated myself. You know what? It doesn't matter because the people in the room and people later will still get value. But yes, if it does help you feel less nervous, you don't have to always talk. You don't have to fill all the space with words. Like you were saying, you say awesome, and that's the segue. And I picked up the thing that people do in tech. So Jason, let's talk about so when
And
you're
those like my brain needs to think
transition
about the
words.
next word. Yeah, it's like, okay, I could just say this without really thinking about it. Okay, I'm saying these things. Oh, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about now. Yeah, that happens a lot, especially if you like. I don't think I've ever practiced a WordCamp talk. Like I think I've gone through and like I've gone
One
through and
time.
set them up, but I never did like a full on practice.
I did it one time only because I was used to teaching in church.
Uh,
And I didn't have slides.
right.
We don't have slides, okay? So the pacing with the slides is tricky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't want too many slides, and I don't want to be that person with 198 slides, okay?
Right.
And you're just clicking, like you're constantly clicking. So
Uh-huh.
that's another thing in the kit. Now I do always
Clicker.
have my clicker and my HDMI cord. So that's another thing that's always in my backpack. I don't take it out. I took it out one time while I was traveling, and then I put it back in. So but like once I get that lavalier mic. Oh, another thing. Here's another thing. When I used to karaoke host, the the main DJ who owned the company would be like, "Okay, here's the wireless mics," right? And then he'd be like, "Okay, pack it up and put everything away, and I'll see you next week." Well, sometimes batteries run out. So when
Right.
we were at Vegas, the Plaza Hotel was awesome. Their on staff people were great. And the guy goes, "This is how you change it. There's extra batteries over there." Like so if you speak a lot, make sure you have your own power cords and maybe a couple AA batteries.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you that the presentation clicker that I like the most
Yeah.
is, this is me being nerdy, but any of the ones from Logitech are great.
Yeah.
And the one in particular is the Logitech R800.
You know the name of it.
What I love about this one is it has a green laser. Green sometimes looks better than red. Like you can actually see it better.
Yeah.
And you tell it what time you have to work with, and it'll start vibrating as you get closer to your time.
Oh.
So whatever you do, don't put that, like, hold that thing in your hand. Don't go and put it in your pocket because you'll forget it because, your phone vibrates in your pocket all the time. But holding this thing in your hand is really, really nice. And it works really well, works up to like 100 feet away. And it's one of those ones where this thing's going to vibrate telling you how many minutes you have left.
So I'm old school. That's the only time I wear a watch. That's also in my kit.
Oh, okay.
An analog watch because I like that I could visually see how much time has elapsed.
Oh, smart.
So because I don't see that well. So you give me digital now, I gotta do math. I'm trying to talk. So is it 15 minutes, 20 minutes? The hands
Yeah.
show the visual representation of the allotted time. Now there are sometimes people that say 5 minutes or whatever, right?
Right.
But not always.
I'm actually going to be doing that at a WordCamp Long Beach.
Yeah.
I'm going to be one of the MCs.
Nice.
So yeah, for the R400, the R800, either one of those two is good. The 800 just has a vibrating thing in it, and the 400 just has a laser pointer. But laser pointers are good. Like it's good to sometimes have. I want to point at that thing, and you want to be facing the audience. You don't want to be facing the screen.
Yeah.
Going like, here's this thing over here. It's like,
I totally do that. It's funny though, but about the red thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, red is low in the spectrum.
Yep.
So definitely that's more difficult to see,
Yeah.
especially in a darkened room
Yeah. Get a green one.
because science.
Right. And that's going to be the clicker for next and previous and, switching to all that stuff. So, it's good to have.
So now
So
that we're talking about sharing and open source though,
yes. So let's talk a little bit about the age old question. Can I get a copy of your slide deck? I don't know how many times I've spoken and somebody walks up either after, during the QA, you'll have it on the screen. Here's a link to the thing. No matter what it is you do, somebody's always going to ask you, can I get a copy of this? And I don't know if anybody actually looks at these things. I don't know. But they want a copy of this thing. And so, if you're the kind of person that's like Chris Lima, where you're literally just showing like vacation photos while you're just talking and it has nothing to do with what's being said, why would you want that? Like, that's not, the slide deck's not going to help you any. Like Bridget's slide deck, it's more about like the headlines,
it's
and she's
pacing.
providing,
Yeah.
and she's providing the context behind the headlines. But yeah, that's that question of like, can I have a copy of the slide deck? What you need to worry about if you're trying to provide this, let's say you're providing graphs and all this other stuff, is one, make sure that the font on that thing is big enough to actually read.
Okay.
Two,
What's big enough?
big. You need to be able to walk.
36.
Go back to the other side of the room and look at it from your little monitor and go like, can I read that? No, I can't read that.
Smallest.
Yeah, don't. And don't put a paragraph. This is not a blog post. Like, don't put a whole paragraph that somebody has to read. No one's going to read that. The second thing is figure out what file format you're actually going to be putting this thing in. If you have to use Prezi, or if you have to use a Keynote, or you have to use whatever, provide a PDF. Anyone can read a PDF. No one's going to go and present your thing. So don't give them the Keynote slide. That's not, you don't need to provide them that. Just give them a PDF. Here's a PDF. Now, the problem with a lot of the WordCamps for WordPress folks is that they're super nerdy. And so they want to literally use jQuery with React, with a WordPress installation, with all this junk to like make their presentation. No joke. They made a custom post type called presentation, and they put all the slides inside this thing because they can. It's WordPress. Why not?
There's actually a Beaver Builder add-on by Ron called Presenter that works
really?
in the, no, I mean, not Beaver Builder, it's a Gutenberg plugin.
Oh, okay. But you got it. This thing needs to be able to live. If these people want to be able to walk away, and we're not handing out USB, thumbsticks or thumb keys or whatever, you're not doing that. But if the person needs to be able to go home and go download this thing, give it to them in a format that's super generic. Here's a PDF.
Well, not just that, Jason, but they want it for WordPress TV, and my WordCamp US and my WordCamp Dallas Fort Worth, they both want those slides by the 11th because of closed captioning. They want to be able to give it to the companies providing closed captioning.
Super smart. Super
So
smart.
guess what they want? PDF.
PDF. Give them a PDF.
Here's another tip when we're on that. Have live and local and cloud versions. So
Please.
Put one on your desktop, put one in your Google Drive, because when I was in Raleigh and I gave the keynote there last year, they couldn't get my computer to work.
Oh,
and not just my computer, anybody else's computer.
Oh, no.
Only the house computer worked. So I'm like, fine, get me on Google. There it is. Click, 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 click. Doop, 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 doop. I'm fine.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I can log into my Gmail account, use Google Drive, download. When I put in Google Drive the PowerPoint, I use Keynote. I put the PowerPoint version, which I export from Keynote, the Keynote version, and the PDF in my Google Drive.
Yeah.
So that if I ever have to do that, and it was a good thing I did, because otherwise I would have been in big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Get those files and make them available, because these people are going to ask you that question.
Make them available to yourself.
Yeah. If you're going to make them available to somebody else, then make them available to yourself as well. So yeah, make sure you have all that figured out.
Because you can't control the venue. Nobody knows the venue. The team, we walk through places I mean, I've never done a
Yeah,
walkthrough, but either way, right?
I have. Yeah,
You still don't know. Nobody's
no idea.
demoing a presentation.
Nope.
You're just looking at the
Their
space.
Wi-Fi could suck. Their internet access could suck. Their internet could go down. Somebody could drive down the street and knock over a pole, and now there's no internet for the whole neighborhood. And you're trying to do a presentation on React.js with blah blah blah. All
Right?
have local copies of all your stuff.
And don't rely on the internet for your presentation.
Yeah. And if you don't have to do live demos, don't do a live demo.
I know,
Live
I've always
demos
do them on
never
Twitter,
work.
but it's tricky though. But if you are, because I did this in my WordCamp Thursday talk last year,
Yep.
you need to zoom in.
Yeah,
Zoom,
that's
zoom,
true.
zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom it
That's
in
true.
so much
That's
because
true.
nobody's going to be able to see that. And we are an aging population, this WordPress community. So anybody that's over 40 is going to have trouble seeing that.
And it's always that person that's sitting in the very back row that says, I can't see. And you're like,
Yeah,
stand
sit in
up,
the front
zoom
row.
with your feet, sit back down.
It's a little trickier with like, people's IDEs and stuff with the
Right.
black, blah, 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 blah. But
Yes.
as much as you can,
Like,
please.
yeah, dark green text on a light green background. Not
Super
gonna work.
fun.
It's just
Yeah.
that's just blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's looking at that. So yeah, don't do if you're gonna do a live demo, like really figure it out. I did live demos that were pre-recorded, so I just sat there and just Vanna Whited the whole
Yep.
thing and just kind of let it do its thing. But that requires a lot of extra time and effort and work to kind of make have happen. So yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about slow hosting?
Slow hosting. Yeah, let's talk about slow hosting.
If you are tired of unreliable or slow hosting, check out Kinsta.com, who takes managed WordPress hosting to the next level. Powered by Google Cloud, all their plans include PHP 7.3, SSH access for developers, one-click staging area, 20 global data centers, free SSL, free CDN, and 24/7 expert support who will also migrate your site for free of charge. If you would like to know more, go to kinsta.com, KINSTA.com. And I want to say hi to my friend Brian Lee Jackson. He does a great job of the marketing.
Yay. Hi,
So,
Brian.
like, my tooler tip is kind of a recycle-ish one. Only because I've done it so many times, but I don't know if you guys know this, but there is new templates in canva.com, and one of them is animated social media.
Yep.
It is so amazing. I started using it for some of my Instagram clients, and it's just the coolest thing. Now, it's not like super, you got to go in there and see what's relevant. So if it like says hello and it writes hello, it's not like you could change that word to be something else. I
Yeah.
learned that the
Yeah.
hard way. But I mean, I love canva.com. I use it every week. Every time I have to make featured images for myself, it's amazing, And so I really want to encourage people to go look at it. It's free, but you can upgrade to the Canva for Work. It's completely worth using. I know there's some graphic artists who think that the images are really big and bulky file size wise, but you could always squish it
But
later
when
with,
you pro it, if you get the pro,
yeah,
there's a thing on there that says optimize image.
yeah,
It shrinks the images down. So instead of getting
yeah,
a 500K image, it gets it
yeah.
down to like, 80K like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, and you have a lot of choices: PNG, JPEG, print, video for those animations, or GIF. So that it could be a GIF, MP4, or GIF. So I've been using that so hard this week. I was like, there's nothing else that's like so overpowering that's changed my life as much as a social media manager and as a blogger. It's the best.
Yeah.
Jason, there's still websites out there that don't have default images if
Yeah.
you share their posts, and or don't use featured images on their sites. Who are these people? I love them. Some are my clients, but I'm just saying, like, are you for real? Put images on your sites. Use canva.com for free. Love
Yeah.
Bridget.
Yeah. Definitely do that. I've been using Canva forever. I use Canva for all the artwork that we do here on Watercooler. We do all the stuff over on WPblab with it. Every time I make any of the album art for any of the shows and everything, all of those are done using Canva. And they're all done using templates, so everything looks exactly the same. None of the elements on the screen start flopping around anywhere. Nothing moves and changes. Yeah, use Canva. It's
Yeah.
great.
So easy.
Yeah. So mine's going to be, and I hate to say this, Android folks, but mine's going to be very iPhone specific. And this is a time in which all of the iPhones get updated to iOS 13. And I wanted to share with you a little thing you can do on iOS 13. I would show it on the screen here, but I feel that a lot of our podcasting audio folks don't really get to benefit from that. So what I'm going to tell you is, if you go to load up a website, this is only if you have iOS 13. If you try to do this on iOS 12, it's just not going to work. Load up a website where you can actually scroll. Do a screenshot. So that means push the left button, left top button, and the right button. Do a screenshot. Or if you're on an older phone, you push the left and then the down button, if I remember correctly, the home button. So after you've taken a screenshot will appear on the bottom right-hand side or bottom left-hand side of the screen. So it looks like that.
Okay.
Now on the top there's a thing that says full page. Do you see full page?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but look, it's taking, it's taking the whole screen as a full page screenshot. I have had to use so many tools to be able to take a full page screenshot. See that whole screenshot?
Yeah.
That's one monster long screenshot. I can take a full screenshot, and then on top of it, I can draw on the screenshot and then save it. And
That's
it saves
so
it
rad.
as a PDF.
Especially for web developers.
Yeah,
client things.
I use this whenever I'm like, somebody goes and says, I can't see this on mobile.
Right.
Like on our website. And I'm like, really? Okay, let me load up on mobile. I load up and I scroll down. I'm like, I see it just fine. Snapshot, circles, do all the things, and then send them that PDF. And they go like, oh, okay, I guess. So that's that right there. That little feature right there is humongous, because I used to have to use this app called Tailor. And I'd have to take a screenshot every screenful worth of stuff and then load up Tailor, and Tailor stitches it together and makes one image out of the whole thing.
Wow.
Super annoying.
That would be super annoying.
Yeah. So if you're taking screenshots of websites and you want to be able to make them into a PDF real quick and be able to send it off, check that out. One other thing. A long while back, I talked about shortcuts. Shortcuts is becoming a first-class citizen in iOS 13. Wow. You don't actually download shortcuts anymore. It's actually already installed on your computer or already installed on your phone. So if you update to iOS 13, you get shortcuts built in. And if you look in there, there's all sorts of fun stuff you can do with it. I was showing one of my coworkers that I wanted it to send a text message to my wife when I'm driving away from my work. And it has to be from a certain time to a certain time.
Yeah.
But no joke, this thing will go like, oh, I've detected Jason is driving away from work after 4:00. I should send a text message to Jen. And then it pops up with the text message and I just hit send and I'm done. Telling her I'm leaving to go home.
Yeah, I tried to, once you talked about this earlier, and I know one of my other clients uses it to tell his wife that he's X amount minutes away from being at home.
Yep.
I could not figure it out.
If
I can't figure out how to do it.
If you open it up and then on the very bottom right hand side, it says shortcuts, like shortcuts gallery.
Yeah.
There's a whole slew of those shortcuts. Just download one of them. Then on the bottom left, tap on that thing and it'll show you that one shortcut that you just downloaded.
Oh, okay.
Just tap on it.
Because I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
This is more complicated than programming an answering machine for your phone. And
Right.
if this one doesn't answer and it goes to here,
Yep.
that like if you're a developer and you
Uh-huh.
understand logical programming, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
If you're Bridget, you're like, I could have done it already.
I have my phone that every time I have something on my calendar, it turns the phone into do not disturb mode automatically. Don't even have to think about it. My
Wow.
phone will never ring during a water cooler WPblab session ever.
Wow.
So yeah, shortcuts. Go check it out. It, it's out now, right now. No joke. On Thursday, you can download it right now.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is already passed.
So you can go download it right now and go check it out. It's super fun, and I've been using the beta for like the last 4 months now. So I this is nothing new to me. It's all old hat, but it's super fun to be able to kind of play around with that.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we did a lot of work for the speakers. Pack your go bag with your outfit, your tech, your equipment, your battery chargers, extra lavalier mics.
Yep. I'll put a
That's
couple of these in the show notes so you can go take a look at them. Bridget will go through and add some of her stuff in there as well. We've been doing this for a while. This isn't our first rodeo, so so there's definitely some there's also some room for improvement as well. So when you have older clickers, when you have older this, when you have older that, technologies change all the time. You should just be willing to do a little bit of upgrades. Most of these things are like anywhere between $20 to $60 for those clickers. Lavalier mics could go literally from $3 on wish.com all the way up to like hundreds of dollars for a nice Sennheiser lavalier mic. But yeah, any of those types of things, it's like if you want to use it, you can definitely buy the cheapest one, but buying the cheapest one also sets your level of expectation that this is going to suck. And so I'm not telling you to go buy the best one, but don't buy the $2 one off of Wish. Like go buy it off of someplace else.
That's good advice for everything. Contractors, bourbon, web developers, never take the lowest.
Yeah.
Those are not good. But you don't have to spend $18. Just go right in the middle somewhere. Yeah, it's true. Like if you get a $300 website, you know what you have? A $300 website. You should be spending $15 to a minimum of $1,500.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody, none of my friends, because people always come to me like, oh, that's so expensive. And I'm like, yeah, it is, but really it's $150 a month.
Yeah.
For 10 months.
These are interactive business cards, darn it. Come on.
No, seriously. And it's amazing. Like one day, this is what Jen and I wanted to do for a while on Two Marketers, 5 minutes. We wanted people to submit websites to us and we would give them a first impression.
Oh boy.
But I just want to Google stuff. I just want to Google real websites at Dana Point and then have us like share the screen and go, this is what's wrong with this one. This is what's wrong with this one. This is what's wrong with this one. Next business at Dana Point. I mean, I'm fine picking on Dana Point because I feel like in Orange County, we should have better websites. I have like some, like I dropped my phone. I have kind of a crack right here. And I've kind of, now there's like a weird one right here. And I'm like, I need to fix this. Why are they making these out of glass?
Oh, well, I hate to tell you, the new ones were all made out of glass, front and back.
I know, that's how the XR is. I have the XR or 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't use letters and express script. Anyway, so so this glass, I don't know, it's probably going to be $150.
Oof.
But I went to this computer repair that I found from the internet, and their website was like terrible on mobile. I swear, if you're ever willing to do that, let's pick on some websites. Because like I told you earlier, since we had 2 minutes left, I have been doing a lot of, people have been hiring me to rewrite the copy on their about and home pages.
Right.
And I swear to you, if I could be one of those developers that stole their site, put it up on staging and changed the theme so that it's a bakery or a construction company or an auto mechanic and the copy still reads okay, then your copy is so wrong.
Yeah.
We provide solutions that are right for your business. What does that mean?
What's your business? Who's your target audience?
It's a solution for my hunger. It's a cupcake shop.
Oh my goodness.
So I can't take it anymore, Jason. I just want to go on a rampage. But it's fine. I just think it's like people don't think. They
Yeah.
see a design and I think that communicates everything. But they're not thinking about what the internet sees. The internet sees words.
Yeah.
The internet, the black box from the IT crowd, Google, whomever, screen readers, people who read stuff. You shouldn't look at a website and go, what does this even mean? Who do you work with? Well, I work with anybody. Come on. What were the last 3 sites you built?
Right.
Oh, okay, that's who you work with.
Yeah.
Well, I'll only do that, but do you,
You're not the dollar store website where you just go to, thedollarstore.com and they accept dollars,
right? And besides, the dollar store has things that are $5 now. It's a big giant
Right.
scam.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever.
Well, I not to talk about this on the show during the show, but I wouldn't mind doing one of those kind of pick apart some stuff and
We should
figure it
do
out.
I
Yeah,
would
I
love
mean
to do that.
that would be
Helpful
fun.
and
That'd be
helpful.
helpful, and we could even do it live here, and people could just hop on and
Make
ask questions
suggestions.
and stuff.
Yeah, submit your website.
So what I'm thinking here is if you go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/feedback, I'll and tell us that you want us to do that. I would love to do that here. And you could even come on the show and be like, here's my website. Can you help me out? What do I do here? I would love to help you out with that. Bridget would love to help you out with that.
Yeah.
And then if no one shows up, then we'll just start picking random websites and we'll just hit am I lucky on Google, and then we'll just start kind of critiquing
It
websites.
needs to happen. It will be a little tricky for the audio only folks, but still, I mean, come on. We need to help our friends communicate better.
I think
And
so
sometimes
too.
just by looking in the mirror and seeing you have lettuce in your teeth, it's fine. I'm never wearing that outfit that I wore at Vegas again, and it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Okay, folks.
All righty, folks. Well, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us on the show here. Thanks for the folks that were in the chat room asking questions and stuff. I can actually show questions on the screen now, which is super awesome. I didn't show something like this where, James was telling us that we had a good point or that he was laughing at us, or he was laughing at us
How
again.
about thanks for the info today?
Or that.
Catch you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, James.
Thanks. So go over to our website over at WPwatercooler.com. You can click on the links over there to subscribe. To subscribe, you go to WPwatercooler.com/subscribe, and you can do that over there. And since I just whipped up this page that I had a couple years ago for feedback, go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/feedback, and you can tell us what we're doing right or wrong, what we should do different, or I have a website and I want you to critique it live, and we would love to do that here. So talk to y'all later. You have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.